Oh my God. The NFL season is finally here. We've got like 2 more sleeps until the Eagles kick off the defense of their Super Bowl championship against the Dallas Cowboys. Final preview and prediction for all the Eagles games this year. My final record prediction, NFL predictions, updates on the Eagles at practice as they get set to face the Cowboys. So much Eagles and NFL talk. Plus Phillies with a huge win yesterday against the Brewers. We're going to talk the good, the bad, the ugly, and all that about that. Guys, trending in the AM. Football week is back, baby. We're live. 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. Please, wherever you're watching, YouTube or Twitter, hit that like button and hit that share button. I'd greatly appreciate it. Of course, subscribe to the STT Sports Network YouTube page and vote on our live poll question here. How many wins will the Eagles have in 2025? Pretty simple poll question. Options are 13 to 15, 11 to 12, 9 or 10. Or less than 9. I really hope the less than 9 gets no votes today, but you never know what the people are going to think. The only way to vote on the poll is to head over to the YouTube page to do that, guys. But, guys, you can watch this on YouTube and Twitter and hit those like and share buttons. Of course, subscribe, as we are up to 610 subscribers to start the day today. Not too bad. Not getting to my 1,000 goal by the start of the season, but not too bad. I mean, we're low 500s just literally 4 weeks ago, so we're moving on up. But we do that by you guys helping the show out, helping the algorithm out, by hitting all those buttons in front of you. Would greatly, greatly appreciate it, guys. I'm Phil Stiefel, and we've got lots happening today, lots on the agenda today. As we're back to our regularly scheduled football programming, previews during the week, recaps in the beginning of the week, previews later in the week, game time, predictions, all that kind of stuff. Got to get it jam-packed in 90 minutes. But we've got my official Eagles prediction coming at some point here in the first hour of this show. I will go game by game, give you my predictions. We've got updates from practice. Some interesting things going on at Eagles practice. Saquon Barkley voted the number 1 player out of the top 100 poll, voted on by the players of the NFL. Love that. We'll go over the top 10 of that list as well. Player captains for the Eagles announced this past weekend. We'll go over that as well. Phillies with a big win last night. Huge win. That's great. Can't wait. I hope everybody had a great Labor Day weekend as well. I did. Hung up in New York on Sunday and Monday. So always fun to actually do something for a change instead of just sitting on my couch and then coming on here with you guys. So lots to get into. Yes, Al. We are at 610. So moving on up in the world. Morning, Steven Fuentes. It's going to be a great week. It's like Christmas morning to an extent. You know, the start of the football season is here. It's a big day, and I love it. It was a heck of a win for the Phillies last night. Absolutely agree with you on that. Heck of a win. People calling it a win of the year so far for the Phillies. I think there was some great stuff. I think there were some things that frustrate me about it, even in a win last night. But we'll get to that. I don't foresee a heck of a lot of Phillies talk the rest of this week. Unfortunately to the Phillies, you take a back seat on opening week. The Phillies definitely take, second place in our hearts and minds now that football season is here and ready to kick off. So let's get to some of the things here. Obviously, Saquon Barkley voted the number 1 player in the NFL in the top 100. Lamar Jackson was number 2, Josh Allen 3, Jamar Chase 4, Patty Mahomes number 5, Joe Burrow number 6, Dark Henry number 7, Myles Garrett 8, Justin Jefferson 9, Patrick Surtain 10. So that was that there. A great honor for Oh, my God. Somebody just voted less than 9 wins for the Eagles this year. Who the F's in the chat right now thinking the Eagles are going to have a sub-500 record? Like, it can't be an Eagles fan. I'm just watching the polls you go. And when I see somebody vote the obvious not answer, my God. Does anybody actually think the Eagles are going to be that bad? Oh, my God. Lost my train of thought because I saw that vote over there on the side. Nobody thinks the Eagles are going to win less than 9 games. Get the hell out of here. F Dallas week. Absolutely. I love that F Dallas week is week 1, too, Adam. It's great. Dallas fans are crying because of the Micah Parsons thing, lying to themselves that it was a good trade. It's a great week for every team not named the Dallas Cowboys. It's a great week for everybody that wants to hate on Dallas to just pile on. No, we still got to respect Dallas. We still got to go out there and beat Dallas on Thursday night. Drew Makuba back to practice this week. Pretty much everybody's practicing. Landon Dickerson didn't practice yesterday, but it wasn't because of the surgery, the knee surgery. It was because of a back issue, which he misses practices all year long because of that. So I'm not concerned about that at all. Actually, I think we're up to 2 votes of less than 9 wins for the Eagles. Holy shit. People are piling on anti-Eagle in the poll question on YouTube here. K1, you don't truly think the Eagles are going to have 6 to 9 wins. You are insane if you actually think that, but I doubt it. I love it's F Dallas week and not rivalry week. Yeah, I'm so over rivalry week in baseball. That was just a disaster. Belichick wrecked. Yes, I don't watch college football, and even I know Bill Belichick got smoked last night, and it couldn't have happened to a better guy. UNC fans emptying out that stadium in the third quarter. There were celebrities there. Michael Jordan was there. I know he's a graduate of UNC, but still, people were piling into UNC to see Bill Belichick and his 12-year-old girlfriend. And they got smoked. What makes it even better, Mad Chatter, is that they marched right down the field and scored on the opening drive. And everyone's like, wow, this Bill Belichick thing is really happening. And then they got smoked the rest of the game. And I love it. I love it. I'm standing in for Mitchie Poo. Oh, okay. You're being Mr. Negative? Okay. Must be a Cowboys fan voting or some maybe pump man. Yeah, maybe. I don't know what it is. Eagles win the Super Bowl this season again. Well, spoiler alert, when I get to my predictions for the NFL season, yes, I might have a certain bird winning the Super Bowl. But spoiler alert, yeah, it's the Eagles. I'll give you my predictions here shortly. And you guys, as the room fills up, as more people start tuning in, I'll get to some predictions here. Good morning, Duck. Hope you had a... Does Tom Brady go back to college? No. See, sorry. I obviously, my mind does not go to the gutter instantly. My apologies on that. I missed what you were saying there. But we are still at 2 of the 15 votes already saying that. Good morning, Little G. Hope you're well. Let's kick some. And that's the thing. You've been saying this all off season, Little G, is your morning comment. But now it's actually here. It's Eagles-Cowboys week. It's week 1 of the NFL season. I'm ready. I'm fired up. I've got like this new burst of energy, ready to go to work and kick ass, ready to kick ass on the channel. Let's hope we can build on this last couple weeks and get more subscribers and stuff. Let's do all that stuff. I'm slipping. I've been slipping for a long time, K1. That's obvious. I've been going down that slippery slope for a very long time. But sometimes I do miss dirty jokes. I do. I can't help it. It's just who I am. You were sick. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Duck. That sucks. We had a great night. We went up to New York on Sunday in Brooklyn, see my sister-in-law and her husband, check out his new coffee shop, Level 1 Coffee in Brooklyn that he opened up. So it was good. Went out, drank, had some great meals, had some great drinks all throughout the city. Then came home yesterday. The North Carolina football team is rubbish. Oh, it's so rubbish. Mister, so rubbish. And I love it. I didn't think. Everybody thought that just, bringing in Bill Belichick was just going to make UNC a powerhouse. Changed over 70 players on his roster. And that's since the springtime. It's insanity. Bill Belichick experiment is going to go not so well. Good, yeah, Phillies win. Yeah, we'll get back to the Phillies later. New York, boo. Look, I'm not a fan of New York. I hate it. The anxiety of driving to Brooklyn, driving over the Vizinaro, or however you say it, bridge, the V bridge, sucks. Okay? The traffic sucks. The pollution sucks. The litter sucks. I will say I rocked a lot of Eagles gear up there, and I got a lot of Go Birds chants from people. So that was a positive. The anxiety of going to New York just drives me nuts, and driving home from it too. Phillies felt like a playoff game. It did. And it's a great win yesterday for them. That's why we call them the fighting Phils. They did have to fight back. I was a little concerned that David Robertson didn't have his best stuff. That was what I was concerned about. But, he's pitched well mostly. He's had, I think, 2 bad games. But, yeah, I mean, still a little concerned also that Schwarber and JT are struggling again. But you know what? Brandon Marsh, Bryce Stott, Harrison Bader, man, they're locked in right now. Wonder if Bill will sign this son to help him. Yeah, maybe. Should have checked out Other Half Brewing while in Brooklyn. We went to 2 different breweries, and honestly, Rick, I don't even know what they were called. One was somewhere on the waterfront in the Red Hook district, and then the other one was by her apartment in Brooklyn, which is like on Bergen Street and Dean Street. I'm not even sure which breweries we went to. Then we went to some fancy drink place later in the night. Takes a few seasons to change a college team. It took Harbaugh like 2 to get Michigan to a winning program. Will they put up with Bill Belichick for 2 years of losing? I don't know. Honestly, I don't even care. I just thought it was funny. And Mad Chatter brought it up. I could care less if UNC ever figures anything out. Good morning, Jonathan Harvey. You've got 11-6 for the Birds and got to get off to a fast start against Dallas before halftime. If the Birds can get to 17, 21 points before half, they're good. Lot to dissect here. The 11-6 is fair. I think it's a smidge higher, but spoiler alert, we'll go into that in a second. You got to get off to a fast start always. The Eagles have always been known for slow starts. I don't fear Dallas. I fear the pomp and circumstance of raising the banner. I feel the pomp and circumstance of the pre-game activities could be a distraction and get them off to a slow start. I fear that they didn't play all preseason, which was the right decision, will help them get off to a slow start. I fear, A.J. Brown and Devontae not practicing regularly, Landon Dickerson not practicing much, will get them off to a slow start. I do not think they're going to lose the game. I just think there's going to be some bumps in the road. And, I have this year's schedule lumped into groups, and I have the first 5 weeks as group 1. And I see some bumps in the road to start the season. I'll say the first 5 games, I have the Eagles at 3-2. I do have them winning week 1 against Dallas. Thursday will give my score prediction, but I do have them winning week 1 against Dallas. Okay? But I have 2 losses in the first 5 games. Then I have week 6 through 15 lumped together. Okay? And I only have 2 I only have 1 loss in that stretch. We'll get to that. Am I the only one who's a little bit worried about this week's game? Cornerback 2 is a question. Well, so according to Vic Fangio, it's not a question. They already know, but he's going to let Nick Sirianni make that announcement. And historically, the Birds have slow starts. The game is going to be a nail-biter. Yeah, I don't know if I like the 7.5 point spread. I think they can win by 7 to 10, but I think there's going to be some bumps in the road. And I think Dallas is in a really weird spot losing their best player, okay? Their best player that their entire team wanted to have everything fixed and to be back. I think there's going to be some disgruntled locker room issues in Dallas, which is a damn shame for a first-time head coach. But you know what, Dallas, so screw Dallas. I don't think they will lose the game. But I don't think it's going to be some 40-10 blowout either. There's going to be a lot of distractions going on Thursday night. Harbaugh was 86-25 at Michigan. He needed a bunch of time to get that team rolling. They were always good under Harbaugh. He didn't need time to get Wolverines rolling. Okay, gotcha. I don't know. Pixel, you are in fact the only one worrying. No, I've said it since day one, the schedule release, even before the schedule was released. I said that there's going to be, you got to remember, and I never looked it up, but there are always close games on Thursday Night Football to kick the season off. Why? Because the home team is raising their championship banner. Everybody warms up, everyone goes, and you warm up, you have introductions, and you play the game. Oh, you're going to warm up, do introductions, raise the banner. You got all these lights are brighter than ever, and there's a distraction built in for the home team. So it could get a slow start off. We'll be live here, 7:30, 7:40 on Thursday night through the end of the game. Don't you worry about that. 12-5 or 13-4 is Yas's prediction. Not worried about Dallas at all. I love the way you spelled Dallas. Ask Dallas. Good job on that. Yeah, I could see 11, 12, 13 wins easily happening. I got them 12-5 winning the East and finishing second in the NFC. The first half is going to be sloppy. The first half of the game and the first quarter of the season, for sure. I can see a lot of sloppy play, but I'll see that sloppy play coming from Dallas as well. Everybody's a little rusty to start the season. Definitely locker room distractions in Dallas. And I think they need it, not a first-time head coach in this situation. They needed a veteran that's been around that could say, you know what, just, help convince them to ignore the outside distractions. But there were a lot of people speaking up in that locker room in support of Micah Parsons. You trade Micah Parsons, that fractures the locker room. Cowboys have no ground game. Even Miles Sanders is banged up. He practiced in full yesterday. So Dallas fans are so hyped about Miles Sanders, Javonte, or whichever Williams it is. And who's the rookie? Jaden Blue. They're hyped about that running game. If you're scared, get a dog. So in your opinion, then, the Eagles are going to go 17-0 and win every game, Rick? Got to understand there's going to be losses. You're not going to go 17-0. And we don't think that the Eagles are going to lose the game. I think it would be very hard-pressed to find an Eagles fan that predicts a week one loss for sure. But to not think that the distractions play a factor into how the game starts, not how the game ends, just how it starts, is being a little short-sighted. You can't fire Belichick. He has to resign. Yeah. And don't they have something worked in that his son gets the job when he retires? It's scripted. Well, that's true. It is scripted. Dallas is a dumpster fire last, but I actually have them. My NFC East rankings. I'll give you my, I'm not going to say I have the Eagles 1. I'll give you my final record prediction in a minute. I have Washington 2 at 11-6. Dallas and the Giants tied for third or fourth, whatever you want to say, both at 6-11. I did drop the Cowboys 2 wins with the loss of Micah Parsons. I didn't raise the Packers 2 wins, but I did drop Dallas 2 wins down to 6 wins. So I got the Giants and the Cowboys at 6 wins. Flip a coin on who's in third and who's in fourth with the tiebreaker. I don't really care about that. Arch Manning is going to have a rough year against those SEC defenses. It doesn't improve a lot. Yeah, I saw a lot of people saying that Arch Manning really bombed this weekend. Didn't watch a second of it. I do have lots of CD and Pickens shares in fantasy they're going to eat this year. People overhype Pickens, but CD, yeah, absolutely. CD's one of the 4 or 5 best wide receivers in football, and Dak's going to have to throw the ball a lot because they're going to be down a lot. So as long as Dak is healthy, CD and Pickens are going to be good. Well, CD will be a great fantasy play. Pickens will be a solid. He's a flex guy still for me. I wouldn't want him start as one of my 2 top wide receivers, but if you want to use him as your flex, I think that's fine. Eagles 12-5, 3-0 in the playoffs. See again. So what? Are you scared? Go get a dog. You don't have them winning all 17 games. I think I've got the Eagles at 12-5. I'm just going to say it now. So I've got the Eagles win week 1. We'll go through my first 5 games. I got win week 1 against Dallas. I've got loss week 2 against Kansas City. Then I got week 3 against the Rams and week 4 against Tampa. 2 more wins. And then I got us losing home Denver on week 5. I think we finally break the Tampa Bay curse and we win in Tampa. The Rams have us circled and are hyping it up to be this huge revenge game. I've got us smashing the Rams. Kansas City wants revenge, whatever. We're coming off Thursday Night Football, whatever. You want to put a loss. I think 3-2 in the first 5 weeks is a very, very respectable. Look, remember, I predicted win-loss last year to start the year. I had us 2-2 after week 4 last year. I think it was like week 12 or week 11, the first time I had a prediction wrong in my preseason predictions. I go deep into this. The Rams, we win that game. They got back-to-back road games. They're going west to east. They're going all over the place. Ain't scared, just not wearing Super Bowl goggles. Yeah, we don't need to have goggles at all. I still can't believe a college hired a 73-year-old who only won because he had Brady and was allowed to cheat. North Carolina being a disaster is going, oh, it's going to be funny. It really is. It really is. I got them at 12 wins all season. So do I. I have 12 wins. By the way, Anthony, see, the thing is, it's hard for me. Like, I'm not a college sports fan. I'm very open about that on this show. But I've always had a special place in my heart for UNC because the first March Madness bracket I ever filled out for money was in, I forget what year it was. I was in 6th grade when North Carolina beat Michigan to win the NCAA championship, whatever year it was at 92, something like that. My first bracket ever for money. Our whole class, we did it. We all put $5. Everybody had Michigan in the Fab Five winning that game. And I went with Eric Montross and UNC as my champion in that year. And I won. So because of that it was my first taste of gambling, and I won. So I've always held a special place in my heart for UNC. But I can't wait to see Bill Belichick just bomb there. I just can't. Not going to win every game. Never said that. Well, you're saying if we're scared of week 1 Dallas, get a dog. You know what I mean? Like, we're just realistically understanding that there's a distraction week 1. And I don't think anyone's predicting a loss. Well, there's people that are predicting less than 9 wins also on the poll, but that's idiocracy right there. There is a built-in distraction week 1. That's why these games are always super close on Thursday Night Football to kick off the season. Every one of them is a 6-7 point game, 8-point game because of that. I watched the low lights. Arch Manning decision-making ain't there, and we'll need every game snap in college to prep for the NFL. Well, we'll see. We need to get that Tampa monkey off our backs, and I think we do. I think this is finally the year the Tampa monkey gets off our back. We finally win a game in Tampa and finally put the we can't win in Tampa story to bed. I think we beat Dallas and Chiefs start 2-0. That's tough, man. I mean, Adam, I would love to be wrong, but that's tough. I think people are writing off Kansas City too quickly. I have to wait and see, though. I don't about records, but week to week we got to do is line that shit up. Absolutely, Marshawn. Absolutely. Our bye is week 9, and I got us going into the bye at 6-2. I've got Kansas City and Denver as our only 2 losses, both to AFC West teams, now that I think of that. The only 2 losses in the first 8 weeks. I mean, we are lucky to have at Giants, at Minnesota, and then home Giants as the last 3 games going into the bye. That's like a cakewalk right into the bye right there. So we go 3-2, and then we go 3-0 entering the bye. So 6-2 entering that bye. If we go 3-2 starting out, the haters will have their knives sharpened for Sirianni. Absolutely agree. But you know what? It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Happened last year. It's going to happen again this year. We're in the midst of our first dynasty in Philadelphia sports. The Eagles now are on the Steelers. Yep, absolutely. Win 3 of the next 7. I'm trying to do the math on that one. Yeah, maybe. You're not counting last year. You're counting 3 more in the next 7. Let's say if you start counting last year, 3 of 7. Yeah, maybe. Phil's beginnings of the Dejean. That was me winning that UNC bracket. That was legitly the first taste of when whoever was in the classroom started it out and held all the money, and he handed me that pile of money. I was like, oh yeah. What year was that, Rick? I think I was in 6th grade that year. I just had this feeling. I was on the upper level of Holy Cross, not the lower level. The upper level of the school was where 6th, 7th, and 8th graders went. Trying to think what year that was. Beginning, it was. Yes, Saquon Barkley is the number 1 player in football, according to the NFL Top 100, voted on by the players, and rightfully so, and well-deserved. I still don't know how Jared Goff's ahead of him on the top 21, but whatever. Real Tampa curses in the playoffs. Well, yeah, I still have the Tampa Bay Bucks winning their division this year. That's my first record prediction outside of the Eagles. Thursday won't be close. Eagles win by 3 touchdowns. I mean, you might be right, and I hope you are right, Rick. I would love a stress-free game, but there's going to be some hurdles to climb. If the Eagles go out and win, I forget what you put on Twitter, 40 or on YouTube, 47-14 or whatever it was. It was a blowout. I remember that 20, 30 points. Then that just scraps everything. And I just want to change every prediction after that. Eagles special teams coverage might be solid. Turbin is dangerous, whatever his name is. Yeah, I still have concerns with special teams. Where do we play the Chiefs? In Kansas City. So we go home Dallas, at Kansas City, home Rams, at Tampa, home Denver. They're our first 5 games. It's at Kansas City week. Yeah. We're not losing to the Broncos. I got the Broncos pushing the Chiefs for the division. I really do. I just think that there's a little bit of a letdown. You finally beat Tampa. You come home. You're 3-1 on the season. You're smelling yourself, and they just have a slight little letdown there. Good morning, Reality Check. How you doing? Hope you're well. They let you gamble in school. I'm sure that the teachers didn't know what we were doing. It was definitely in the recess yard. So it was 93. So maybe I was in because I graduated in 94 from Holy Cross. So it must have been 7th grade then. I would have been 12 at the point of that. Well, no, it was 92, 93, 93. Yeah, no. I think that would have put me at 7th grade. Which, Big Al, who was 7th grade at Holy Cross back then? Was that Miss Rooney? So it would have been Miss Rooney's class that I won that gambling on. She probably collected the money, actually, knowing her. Don't sleep on the Broncos. That's what I'm saying. The Broncos, I got the Broncos. AFC West, here are my AFC West predictions. I got the Chiefs at 11-6 and the Broncos at 11-6. Right now, I got the Chiefs winning the tiebreaker, but who knows? That could go either way. The Chargers at 9-8 and the Raiders at 5-12. I've been told by Raiders Frank on Twitter that I'm sleeping on the Raiders massively. A random Phillies fan that's also a Raiders fan for some reason. I don't know the story there. 11-6, 11-6, 9-8, 5-12. I got the Chiefs and the Broncos dead even there. Chargers are a dumpster fire. The Chargers stink. You'll never hear me say anything good about them because as long as Justin Herbert's their overhyped quarterback, they will never, ever be that great. And Jim Harbaugh, I don't buy him as an NFL coach. Or fixing Justin Herbert there. Broncos should make a solid step forward this year. I agree. And I think the Chiefs are taking a step back, but not that much of a step back. They still got Patty. They still got Andy. They still got Travis. They still got, big game Spags. If anyone isn't sleeping on the Broncos, it's me. I've had 4 fantasy drafts so far, and in 4 drafts, Bo Nix wound up as my quarterback 1. In all 4. Wow, that's good. I mean, yeah, I don't hate it at all, Freddie. Curious, how early did you have to grab Bo Nix? Because a lot of people are high on him. And I wonder if he's getting drafted way higher than he should. Chiefs window might be closing, but see, the thing is, I don't think it fully closes. Because Patrick Mahomes is, 30 years old? He's got 5, 7, 10 more years in the NFL. As long as they got Patty Mahomes, their window will never fully close. They might have to have a retool year. They might have some years that they don't win 12 games, 13 games. But they're never going to be a 5-12 team or a 6-11 team as long as Patty Mahomes is still there. Okay? And as long as Andy Reid's coaching the team, they're not going to be a 5-12, 6-11 team. As long as those two there, their window closes, but it doesn't close shut. It gets tighter. That's just my opinion on that. But I agree, Chiefs window isn't closing that fast. No, not at all. I have lots of Nick shares as well. Peeps think Peyton has forgotten how to coach football for some reason. It's been a long time since he's won a title. Bo Nix, they better off with Stevie Nicks. I love Stevie Nicks. He was round 6, 7 each time. I typically wait on quarterbacks as well, but that's interesting. It's about where I think is a fair place for him. For some reason, I had a feeling that you would say, he had to go in, round 4 or something like that, so you didn't miss him. But that's fine. Meanwhile, Chargers finished ahead of Broncos last year. They were an 11-win team. Harbaugh, great coach. That's a Michigan blind. That's right there. Justin Herbert's the most overrated quarterback in football, Rick. He just is. I have zero belief in Justin Herbert being anything more than a poor man's Phillip Rivers. Wins regular season games, comes up small in clutch moments. And they don't even have a great team around him this year. Now, I don't buy the Chargers. 9-8, I think, is fair. I think that's a safe space to put them at. Whoever comments, he wins everywhere goes, yeah, I guess. Look, I know you got your Michigan love, and that helps push that, and I get that. That's why it's great for me. I don't have a college team that I have to latch onto a pro team because of a player or a coach. Not saying you don't root for them over the Eagles or anything like that, just whatever. AFC South. I've got the Texans 11-6 winning the division. I got the Jags surprising up to 9 wins this year, 9-8. And then I have the Colts and Titans 5-12. Shane Steichen may be the first head coach fired this year, I think. May. Not sure, but may be the first head coach fired. It's between him and Brian Daboll as the first coaches fired this year, in my opinion. But 5-12 for both of them. Texans winning that division. Harbaugh took San Francisco to the Super Bowl. He did take them to the Super Bowl once, yeah. They lost that game, right? I think they did. I don't even remember. He was the coach during the 49ers Ravens Super Bowl, right? The power outage game. When's the last time John Harbaugh or Mike Tomlin won a title? Well, he'll say John Harbaugh. Absolutely. John Harbaugh, yeah. I got that. And John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin are those guys that are just going to stay there as long as they want, basically. But speaking of John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin, my AFC North predictions. I've got the Ravens at 12-5, winning the division. The Bengals holding tight, second place, 11-6. Steelers 8-9. Browns 5-12. I think the Ravens and Bengals are going to battle it out big time this year, and it's going to come down to the wire between those. Obviously, both are going to make the playoffs, in my opinion. But 12-5 Ravens, 11-6 Bengals. Colts challenge Texans for that division this year. It's like, you think Daniel Jones is going to lead that team to challenge for the division? Yeah, they might get, maybe Daniel Jones surprises some of us and doesn't do awful, but there is no way that Daniel Jones is going to challenge for a division ever. Texans, Jags, Titans, Colts, I'll give it to Ward. Can't count on Danny foot stamps. Yeah, exactly. He's not having a Sam Darnold type turnaround. Not happening. I think the Colts will actually take a step forward with Danny Dimes. I think they end up being second in the division and might make or just miss the playoffs. A lot of hype for Daniel Jones in Indy here. Jones is better than Anthony Richardson. If you really want to debate two of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL, sure. Daniel Jones might be more of a traditional quarterback and better at being a traditional quarterback than Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson really never got a chance. He got hurt a bunch. He was forced out there too soon, then got hurt a bunch. He got like 17 starts in his career. Not even maybe. In a couple years. Daniel Jones had 70-some starts in his career. Maybe 80-some. We know what Daniel Jones is. Not very good. That's the exact point I just made. Look, and look, I get it. Daniel Jones probably is a smidge better than Anthony Richardson. It doesn't mean he's good. Sure, he's better, but it's exactly like saying Daniel Jones is better than Anthony Richardson. Like, that's not saying much. Richardson barely played in college. He barely played in the pros, barely played in college, was forced to start practically day one, and he failed. I get it. He needed to hold a clipboard for 2 years and learn. This should be his first year starting right now. Richardson also took himself out of a game. Yeah, that's a bad thing right there. I mean, no quarterback taps out. You know what I mean? Chargers going to challenge for the AFC. I would be shocked on that one because that would mean Justin Herbert would have to come up big in a playoff game, and that's just not going to happen. My final AFC division, the East, I got the Bills winning at 12-5. I've got a shock. I've got the Dolphins second in the division at 10-7. Jets third, 8-9. Pats 7-10. I think a lot of people are criticizing me for my Dolphins prediction, but maybe Tua actually stays healthy and has 10 wins there. So I've got my 4 division winners at the Bills, the Ravens, the Texans, and the Chiefs. My 3 wildcard teams, the Broncos, the Bengals, and in that 7th spot, the Dolphins. That's my prediction. I've got the Ravens coming out of the AFC in the Super Bowl, yes, against the Eagles. I would take Malik Willis over Richardson. I mean, Kyle McCord could probably start over Anthony Richardson at this point. Not trying to say that Anthony Richardson's a good quarterback, but saying Daniel Jones is so much better than Anthony Richardson ain't saying much. It's going to be close, miss. So when will Mahomes be knocked off the AFC mountain? I got both the Chiefs and the Broncos at 11 wins. I have the Chiefs at the division. You can flip-flop that. That's fine. I really don't care. That's the difference between a 4 seat and a 5 seat. I do have the Broncos upsetting them in the first round of the playoffs, though. In that first round. It's going to be close. but they're never going to be fully knocked off that mountain. Bills, Patriots, Miami, for me, I think Drake May takes off this year. I kind of felt like giving them a 7-win season was pretty fair. Like that's a step forward, right? They got to be patient there. I am also not a huge Mike Vrabel guy. I think he's a slightly overrated head coach, and he's never won a title anywhere. But yet people put him in that upper echelon, of head coaches that everybody wanted him. And I think you got to be patient. It's going to take some time there with him to change the culture and continue to build them. So I think 10 wins is pretty fair. Drake May's this year's fantasy sleeper, and that's fine. But we're talking real life wins and losses, not fantasy wins and losses. Guys, if you haven't already, please hit that like button and that share button and subscribe to the channel. Vote on the poll. We're up to 20 votes right now on the poll. 11 to 12 wins is 50% of the votes right now. 15% say less than 9. You idiots. What are we at? We got 13 likes on the video so far. Not too bad. I know more than 13 people have been watching because we do have 20 votes on the poll. So, guys, make sure you're hitting that like button. 13 to 15 wins for the Eagles at 35%. Fantasy is real life. Yeah. In a fantasy world, fantasy is real life, right? Exactly. So that's how I got the Ravens, Bills, Texans, Chiefs, Broncos, Bengals, Dolphins. So again, the Ravens would get the bye. Bills would beat the Dolphins. The Bengals would upset the Texans, and then the Broncos would upset the Chiefs in the first round of the playoffs. And then the Ravens end up coming out of that, which I'm perfectly fine with there. It's not about Mike for me. I like the team the Pats have built. It's not bad so far. After a Brady rebuild, thought it would be much worse. Yeah, look, and that's fair, and I get that. A lot of people are hyping the Pats because they think Drake May's this new year for Drake May, combined with this amazing head coach and Mike Vrabel. Like, I kind of feel like they did their coach last year, whatever his name was, dirty by firing him. You know what I mean? Just they only fired him so they could bring in Mike Vrabel. And I think that is hyping up Mike Vrabel too much. That's just me. You should have a soundboard cue for every fantasy reference. What does that soundboard cue have to be? I don't know. Tell me what kind of a cue I need for that. Anyway, so that's that. NFC. Let's get to the NFC, and then we'll end with the Eagles, and I'll give you game-by-game prediction on where I see the Eagles' 5 losses. So I got the Eagles at 12-5. NFC West. I do have the Rams winning it at 10-7. I've got the Cardinals with the same exact record in second place at 10-7. I got Seattle 8-9, and I got the 49ers bottoming out at 5-12 this year. So Rams 10-7, Cards 10-7, Seattle 8-9, 49ers 5-12. NFL just dropped their top 100 players for 25 voted on. Number 1, Saquon Barkley. It was 100% the right decision there. Mayer is a good quarterback. Drake May is a good quarterback. But Pats are a year away from being a year away. A year away from being a year away? I think they're a year away from. I think if everything goes as I expect, Rick, I think next year I'll have them in that 9, 10, 11 win, maybe. One more really good draft, one more year development for Drake May, and then we can see. But I got to see this year before I can just say that for sure. I don't know what kind of soundboard you have. I've got only like 8 or 10 on here, but I can program sounds into it. I'm not sure how, but I know I can do it. Maybe some kind of Disney-esque. Yeah, no. I don't know. I'm not really a Disney guy. AFC South also won at 10 wins, 10-7 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. One of those losses being against those Philadelphia Eagles. I got the Falcons 8-9. I got the Panthers with a little ascension there to 7 wins, 7-10 for the Carolina Panthers. A little bit of a shock bumping them up that high. And then I've got New Orleans Saints with the worst record in football this year at 2-15. That's what you get, Kellen Moore. You could have ran it back here. Not saying I don't like Kevin Patullo, but you could have ran it back here with the Eagles. But you took that Saints disaster, and you're going to win 2 games this year. Two wins for the Saints this year in that division. I agree. Pats are a year away from having a Titans-like middle-of-the-road team. Yeah, there you go. Which is exactly what Mike Vrabel does. Middle-of-the-road type team. Rams take a step back this year. I don't know. I think they struggle early, but I still think as long as Sam Darnold is healthy enough to play all year, I still think they're a pretty good team. If not the Rams, I like I said, you say they take a step back. Shockingly, I'll tell you, if the Rams don't win that division, I think it's the Cardinals. I do. Who was it last week on this show that suggested a trade of CeeDee Lamb to the Cardinals? That would be crazy. And then I'd be so hyped. I'm not even a Kyler Murray guy, but I think they're going to have a huge year this year. NFC sounds good so far. Good for the Eagles, yeah. The tough division is obviously the East and the North. I got the Lions still winning their division, despite Micah Parsons going to the Packers. I still got the Lions winning the division, 12-5. I got the Packers at 11-6, which was what my record prediction was before he went there. I got the Bears at 9-8, and it broke my heart to even say that because I'm not a Caleb Williams fan. I don't know if the Bears are even 9-8 good. And the Vikings at 6-11. Yeah, that's what I got there in that division. Sam Darnold going to have a good season again. Yeah, but 8-9, I still think that's fair for him. I don't think he's going to win 13, 14 games like he did last year with the Vikings. I think all members of Phil Illuminati deserve an entrance soundboard cue. Oh my God. Eagles steamroll to another championship. Steamroll? Is a steamroll the right word? I don't know. March? Maybe. I really didn't want to put them over 500. I just didn't want to deal with a billion Bears fans telling me how wrong I am because look at the roster around Caleb Williams and they got Mr. Johnson from Detroit who's going to lead on the promise. I just didn't feel like dealing with a million complaints. So I kind of courtesy gave them 9 wins. But I wouldn't be shocked if they only win 7. I think Johnson, like Moore, is going to regret leaving great situations to go head coach somewhere. All right, steamroll it is. I love the positivity today. I do. The schedule will not allow for steamrolling this season. I agree. I think 12-5 even is being generous, honestly. Green Bay Lions, Vikings, Bears. Now, reality check, did you have that listed that way before the Parsons? Oh, I had Green Bay before Parsons. So, okay. All right. I thought about flip-flopping it, but Detroit, I think, is still a great team. They're going to struggle a little bit more than last year, replacing both their offensive and defensive coordinator. We saw what 2023 was like for the Eagles when we had to do that. But they still have a super talented team with a great running back, great wide receivers, a really good, solid quarterback who should not be ranked in the top 100 ahead of Jalen Hurts, but whatever. I still think the Lions almost are being slept on because of Green Bay this year. And I don't believe in Jordan Love as a super, super elite quarterback yet. I know people do. I don't. I think Jordan Love still has a lot to prove to deserve the hype he gets. That eye roll made it worth it. Yes, is that what it is? Man. Ben Johnson will need 2 seasons to break 500 just because new and very intensive. Cool. Maybe, yeah. A lot of people worried because of tough schedule. But I say it's good for the Eagles. It makes us even better. Absolutely. But when you so you predicted 12 wins, but you say 12 wins is not steamrolling the schedule. 12 wins is a really great season, but that means you have some bumps in the road. So let's go to the NFC East. I got the Giants and Cowboys both with 6 wins, 6-11 for both those teams. I got Washington at 11, and yes, I got the Eagles at 12-5. Now I got the Lions 1, the Eagles 2, the Bucks 3, the Rams 4, the Packers 5, Washington 6, Cardinals 7. That's your playoff run. And I do have the Eagles coming out. Eagles versus the Ravens for the Super Bowl. Eagles beat the Ravens in a battle of I-95. Now, how did I get the Eagles to 12-5? Okay? Lots of great YouTube shorts coming out of this one. Hopefully. When you think they're good, they end up not being good. So I already told you, I got the Eagles win, loss, win, win, loss. So losses against Kansas City and Denver in the first 5 weeks. Then I got them going to the bye at 6-2, wins against the Giants, Minnesota, and Giants. Now, before the Micah Parsons trade, I already had us losing coming out of the bye to the Green Bay Packers on Monday Night Football as a loss. Okay? So I have us 6-3 after week 10. You got to see a couple comments here. Green Bay will take a step forward, but I don't think it takes them to the Super Bowl, but it puts them in a position to get lucky. Yeah, I like that way to say it. I like that. Love doesn't need to be elite yet. He just needs to work within the system and grow. But to get to the Love will do just fine in 3 years. Love in 3 years is going to be 30 years old. He's been in the playoffs twice. Got to show him a little love. And I think 11-6 is Love. And I think he's a top 10 quarterback. But there are people out there, reality check, that put Jordan Love in like the top 5, top 6. I think anywhere from 7 to 10, that's the next step down. Can he get into that a leader category? Sure. He's not there yet. And they got to find him a real wide receiver. That offensive line has to be improved on. The defense is getting better with Micah Parsons, but there's still some left to be desired. But all that negative I just said about the Packers, I just feel like that Green Bay game is going to be a big trap game for the Eagles. Because then they got Detroit, Dallas, the Bears. They got their better schedule after. Good morning, Joseph, on Twitter today. Finally made it. 2 bold predictions. Falcons and Jags, surprise team, and each get to 11 wins. Well, that would be a surprise. I did predict the Jags second in their division with 9 wins. So we're close. I got the Falcons at 8 wins. If I had to predict, the Jags would be more likely to come true, in my opinion, than the Falcons of your 2. But that's just me. I'm not as high on Bo Nix as others. I think maybe this year there's a slight improvement, new culture, change in Jacksonville. Not to the playoffs, but they get better. Final 3 weeks could be huge, or the last 2 games might be meaningless. Well, funny you say that, K1, because I do have the Eagles. After losing to Green Bay, we're 6-3. I have them going on a 5-game winning streak. Win home Detroit, win on the road Dallas, win Black Friday against the Bears at home, win Chargers Monday Night Football, win versus the Raiders. So I've got them at 11-3 going in the final stretch of the season. Okay? But then you hit that juggernaut. It's like I said before, the first 5 weeks and the last 3 weeks. That's the tough stretch of the schedule. And yes, I have them losing at Washington and losing at Buffalo. Okay? That puts them at 11-5. And then they've got to win week 18 to get to 12 wins and win. I got the Eagles at 12. I got Washington 11. They have to win week 18 to win the division. And they do win week 18 to win the division. So week 18 is not going to be meaningless this year like in years past. I got loss, win to end the season. So 2 losses in the first 5 games, 2 losses in the last 3 games. I have them going. I got an 8-1 stretch in the middle of the season. 8-1 stretch there. But the beginning and the end of the season, where the 4 other losses come from. Who was a better season, Jaden Daniels or Jordan Love? I think that's a tough one. They're both going to win 11 games. I think it depends on how healthy Washington stays with their aging roster, oldest roster in the NFL. I think Jaden Daniels will have the better start to the season, maybe, because of that. But when they start losing players, maybe. I don't know. It's a tough call. I think they're pretty neck and neck, in my opinion. I'm going to say Jordan Love, but by a hair. I am shocked that Green Bay didn't grab Anaya Smith off the waiver wire. He's much improved over preseason and could give them a stretch wide receiver. They need to open up. They don't need any more mid-wide receivers or below-average wide receivers, Duck. They've got a lot of number 2s and number 3s on their team. They need a number 1 wide receiver. They should have tried to get CeeDee Lamb in that trade with Micah Parsons, just do a 2-for-1. They need a number 1 wide receiver. That's Green Bay's problem. Well, he is in the top 10. He's been in the playoffs with no name wide receivers. That's a problem. And a very young, talented D. Until Parsons, the Packers' best player was Kenny Clark. So, yeah, we are a little hard on Love. He's very hard. I don't think I'm hard on him. I think I'm very fair on Jordan Love. I say Jordan Love is a very good quarterback. He's in that 3rd tier. You've got the Hurts and Mahomes. You got the Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow group. Then you've got the rest. And that's not a knock on Jordan Love. And I've said that. Jordan Love just, I don't know. He's close. He's close to getting to that top level. I don't know if he can, but he's close to it. But what if Buffalo has already clinched number 1 seed by that point? They're not going to rest their starters for 2 weeks, though. And I have the Ravens with the number 1 seed, by the way. My prediction is the Ravens win the number 1 seed, but they're not going to rest their starters for 2 straight weeks. But that's a possibility, K1. That's absolutely a possibility there. And I did take that into account. Didn't they just pick up a rookie wide receiver that was supposed to be wide receiver 1-2 range? They drafted a first-round wide receiver. The Packers, I can't think of his name off the top of my head. But again, it was later in the first round. Some people say he could be their star wide receiver, and a lot of other people that I listen to and respect say he's just another one of those wide receiver twos. So they still don't know if they have a wide receiver one in Green Bay. Oh, I know. I'm just trying to be that counter to your point. Just the others, my bad. No, I got you. It's football season. There's a lot of expressing going on. Predictions like this, as Marsha said, they're meaningless. We don't know what we're doing. Anything can happen. Okay, these are just all opinions. Okay, Golden, Marcus Golden. Yeah, Golden. That's the guy that they drafted. A guy that could maybe be a wide receiver one, but probably is just another wide receiver two in Green Bay. Do you have someone in the writers' room? Papa needs some solid shore bets. Yeah, we need some bets. I've got one bet on the Thursday night football game so far. Did I give you guys my first parlay of the year yet? I don't know if I gave you the parlay yet. Where is my parlay? I got to catch up on my notes here. My first parlay of the season, 19-1, Eagles, -7, over 26.5 total points for the Eagles, 200-plus passing yards for Jalen Hurts, and a Jihaad Dotson touchdown. Pays 19-1, week 1. I like it. It's a good, fun first bet of the year. Matthew Golden, not Marcus Golden. Gotcha. Guys, let's refresh this real quick here. I want to see where we're at here on likes and stuff like that. Still 13 likes. Not acceptable enough. Sorry, just spitballing as usual. Yeah. It's all good. Well, listen, man. If Love can do what he's doing with these so-called number twos, and God, he's a guy that, let's see, wide receivers that have been moved this past year, Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp, wide receivers that could get moved, maybe eventually CD if they're bottoming out and rebuilding. You go give him an elite top 5, top 10 wide receiver, and then we can see if he's really that special or not, Jordan Love. Josh Jacobs getting a little older. Their offensive line's still not great. Matt LaFleur is a solid head coach, but not on that upper echelon level yet. Every shot JT takes to the nuts is a loss for the 2025 first. So the Eagles are going to lose like 37 games this year. Dude, that boy took a shot yesterday. Might be one of the worst. Some people are blaming that shot on why David Robertson struggled because of the long layoff there in between pitches. He's not been hitting well at the plate the last week or so either. He's like 2 of his last 20 or something like that, or 2 of his last 30. Something like that. Do the Packers have anything left to go after Lamb from the fire-sale Dallas Cowboys? Well, they only traded 2 first-round picks, so they don't have a first over the next 2 years. And I don't know what CeeDee Lamb's contract speculation is, so I'm just speculating wide receivers that could or have been moved recently. I honestly don't think the Dallas Cowboys would ever try to trade CD because he is locked up. I think they are going to go through a retool. I think their goal was to get draft capital to eventually replace Dak with Archie, because it'll always be Archie Manning to me. I think they moved Dak Prescott after this year when they collapse. I really, truly believe that. Where Dak goes, I don't know. They don't have picks left, but their cap space is hella good. There's always picks. There's future picks, there's second, third round picks. They did trade their next 2 first, but we'll see. I don't think that Dallas would really trade him. What did I tell you about Bader? Need to be played every day. The dude's playing so well since he's come to Philadelphia. Better than we could have even remotely imagined. It's everything we thought Austin Hayes was going to be last year. Stubbs came back, the vibe, and yeah, exactly. Of course, naturally, Stubby comes back and scores the winning run in the game. Of course. I don't think that contract is tradable. No, it's never tradable. But somebody might figure something out. I don't know. 59. That means we haven't gained any subscribers during today's show, guys. That means you got a YMCA. You got to make sure you've hit that like button. 21 votes, but only 13 likes. Like, share, subscribe, guys. Please. Please, please, please. And don't forget, we'll be live for the entirety of the Eagles game. Actually, early, because we're giving away All these autographed items. The raffles ended. Didn't quite get to $1,000 raised, but still great amount of money going to a great charity. Cut it off. No more raffles being sold. Did you see what went down with Castellano the other day? Castellanos? I know he got benched for the last 2 games. I don't know if something go down. I don't know that. Again, I was in New York the last couple of days, and I golfed on Saturday and worked. So I pretty much have been out of the sports loop mostly for the last 3 days. I kind of half-assed kept up with stuff. You shouldn't have the O-line the Cowboys had since 16 and come out with those relatively poop results without having bad management. Well, we all know the Cowboys have awful management. I mean, I don't think there's a single person out there that would say that the Cowboys are a well-run organization. Cowboys fans know they don't have a good, well-run organization. That's pretty obvious there. By the way, since the last time we went live on Thursday, Kyle Lowry the Cowboys might be the only thing I accept on this. That might be accurate, Mitchie Poo. Kyle Lowry going to the Cowboys would probably make them a better team right now, even though he's a basketball player, and an old one at that. He was complaining about playing time to the media. Thompson is just a player, please manager. I didn't know he complained about it. It's the right move, for sure. But yeah, I didn't hear that he was complaining about it. I'm not shocked he was complaining about it either. Benji Cassidy has totally turned the season around. Like right now, you're right. I mean, Max Kepler's turned his season around. Bader's been great. Marsh, people don't understand how good Brandon Marsh has been this year since his injury. When he came back from the injured list, he's been phenomenal. He said it was passion to play. Well, yeah, and I get that. I wouldn't want a player on my team that doesn't want to. That if you don't get pissed off when you get benched, then you have no heart. Jerry Jones is the reason the NFL needs an age limit for ownership, if not ownership, at least GM positions. Well, the owners would have to vote on that kind of a change, and Jerry Jones has enough friends that would never allow that, okay? But yeah, you couldn't change the age limit for ownership. You could probably make a rule for GMs or make a rule that GMs can't be owners too. Cassie answered with yes, no answers. What was he doing? Pulling Marshawn Lynch. 6'11". Oh, we gained one. Yeah, how about that? Look at that. All right. One other thing I wanted to mention about the Eagles, and it's something else we get into. The Eagles captains were announced on Friday. Jalen Hurts for the 5th time. I can't believe we're getting our 5th full year as Jalen Hurts as a starting quarterback already. A.J. Brown 3rd time. Saquon Barkley 1st time. Lane Johnson 4th. Jordan Mailata 2nd. Zach Bond and Reed Blankenship 1st time. Jake Elliott 4th time. Yes. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 8 captains, okay? Only 2 on defense. One of them, Reed Blankenship, that's on an expiring contract right now. So we're going to get into the Reed Blankenship thing in a second here. But thoughts on the captains chosen. No shock that Zach Bond and Saquon Barkley, in their 2nd year in Philadelphia after the seasons they had, were chosen. I don't know why you make Jake Elliott a captain. I guess he's well-loved. No surprise with Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown or Lane Johnson, Jordan Mailata. Little shocked there's only 2 defensive captains chosen. But did they get the captain's picks right? I was shocked that Nick basically called Topper a liar. For the first time, I have real hope that his time here is done. I know you have extreme hate towards him, Anthony. I know it. And I feel it. I feel it coming out. I don't even know what you look like, but I feel it radiating through your bones. And you know what? He deserves to be benched. You better hope he figures it out. Because you ain't going to be able to trade him. The way he's playing right now. Elliott is the captain. Elliott has now been the captain for 4 straight years. 16 likes and 611 subscribers. All about the 1 and the 6. I like that. That's interesting. Now let's get 61 likes and 616 subscribers, okay? Let's go. Onward. Let's gain 16 new subscribers. All right? So, on the Reed Blankenship information. Voted a first-time captain on an expiring contract. And I have never said this. I put it on Twitter, and a lot of people blew up. And I feel bad that it hasn't happened yet. But it is under my understanding that Reed Blankenship will be signed to an extension very soon. I have a source, cannot name the source, but a very reliable source that has told me they're just dotting the I's, crossing the T's, And very soon we will see an extension. He doesn't know how many years, but long enough, 3-4 years is my expectation of the deal, from what I'm gathering from the information, that Reed Blankenship will get extended very soon here. Maybe as soon as today you might get the announcement. And this has been his captaincy, does not play into it, but it's not a shock that the news of his captaincy and the rumor of his extension are kind of linked together. Lots of 6s and 1s, I know. Yeah, let's get to 666 because then we'll be close to 669. Again, I've never had the opportunity to say I have a source, but I got a message from somebody that I know and I trust that says it's happening. Can't say how or why. Is the source you, Buddy Howie, who works in the equipment closet at the Eagles? Yeah. No, it's not anybody. But then when I put the tweet out, I got a message from somebody else, another source that's friends with somebody in the Eagles organization that confirmed what my source said. So I fully, truly expect a Reed Blankenship extension to be announced very, very soon. Very, very soon. I'm actually pulling up Twitter right now. I mean, it could be getting announced right now as the show's going on. I don't know. But Reed Blankenship will be here for the foreseeable future. 69 isn't, that's always Mitchie Pooh's joke. I'm cool with re-signing Reed, but don't mistake it. If you can get better, I'm all for it. I won't sit here and act like he's amazing. He's solid. The problem with Reed is I think the extension might be coming because Sidney Brown hasn't shown what we thought he was capable of. Andrew Makuba's been hurt and is getting a slow start. He did practice, but you kind of need Reed. And Reed ain't going to sign like this. What did Kyle Hamilton sign? A 4-year, $100 million deal? No. My guess is you're looking at a 4-year, $35 million contract, maybe 20 of it guaranteed. 3 years, $30 million, 18 guaranteed. Something like that. Nothing that's going to break the bank. Nothing that's going to stop you from signing Jalen Carter next offseason. But he's a leader of this team. They respect him. They love him. He's solid. Yes. Yeah. Casty is starting to guess more at the plate, and that is not a good thing. No, it's never a good thing to guess. Do you have a rough number for his contract? The contract, the only thing I can tell you is from the source. My source wouldn't have known about it if it was just a 1-year extension or just a pay bump this year. My guy wouldn't be involved unless it was a 3 or 4 year deal. Okay? That is all I can say about that, and I won't answer any more questions about that. The money we don't know. We don't know anything about it, just that it is happening. And it's happening very soon. I was trying to see if anything broke. Nothing has broken about it yet. But we might get a little bit of an answer today that Adoree Jackson or Keely Ringo is the starter. Vic Fangio spoke yesterday and said they in-house know who's starting game 1. Adoree Jackson or Keely Ringo or Jacorian Bennett. But he was going to wait and let Nick Sirianni make that announcement. Who's it going to be? Jacorian? Probably the most upside. Adoree till Jacorian's ready? Or do they go back to the whole Keely Ringo experiment? Reed Blankenship is worth keeping at this point because if you lose him after this year, who's your starting safeties next year? Reed Blankenship is a leader on this defense. He's a great success story. Undrafted free agent. It's a great story. 4 years, 38 to 42 million would be reasonable. 20 to 23 guaranteed. Yeah, I would say 4 years, 38. 20 would be very reasonable and still a great story. I think 442 to 23. That would be the absolute max to me. Okay, but I would think a 4 year, 38, 20 guaranteed gets it done. I don't have the exact numbers from my source, but I know it's going to happen. It better be Jackson. I can't watch a DB get beat on double moves over and over again. I kind of felt last week that that Keely Ringo was going to be the guy just because they're going to give their guy one more chance. But then I kind of said, maybe not. I think if it's not Jacorian Bennett, it will be eventually Jacorian Bennett, because I do think they wanted and liked and needed Adoree Jackson to be that bench guy, that depth. Oh, you got to miss 3 plays or a drive? I can jump in for you. Oh, you need to miss a drive? I can jump in for you. You're going to miss a game? I can jump in for you. So it's Kelee Ringo or Jacorian Bennett. Now, I don't think Jacorian Bennett maybe has enough knowledge yet of the system. Maybe that's what they're saying. But I wouldn't be shocked if it's Jacorian Bennett. Sunday football will be so relaxing as we sit 1-0. I love it. I love it. I love it, Rick. And then we got to get stressful next Sunday when we face the Chiefs. Do you like the top 100 in the NFL? Hold on. I got to double check here. I love that just Saquon Barkley's number 1. I think it's very fair. I think they got the top 10 fairly right, fairly good. Nothing I'm really going to complain overly about the top 10. I know that Jalen Hurts, in my opinion, should be in that top 10. He's not. I think one of the big ones that annoys me in the top 100 is how Jared Goff is rated ahead of or ranked ahead of Jalen Hurts. That's kind of frustrating to me. The Eagles have 9. They have the most out of any team in the top 100, which is great. Devontae Smith wasn't even in the top 100, was he? Or it was very low on it. A little disrespect for Devontae Smith on that. But that's about it. Sirianni accidentally said that they are going to need Adoree Thursday, so that makes me believe he gets the cornerback 2 start. Yeah, and I think that's fine. I think that's fair. Is this the same show where, look, I think it's not that we bashed or trashed him. Okay, we've got to be realistic on who Reed Blankenship is. Reed Blankenship is a good safety. He's not a great safety, but he's also a great leader. Okay, he has obvious flaws in his game, and that's why he's not getting a 5-year, $100 million deal like Kyle Hamilton. Extending him because Sidney Brown hasn't worked out is kind of a priority. Blankenship is that mid girl you kept around that has your back, but you know you could do better. Then you realize you can always do better no matter what, and just say, yeah, I like that. That's a great rep. I love that. The smartest thing Blankenship did was become great friends with Dejean. That too. The exciting white, you can't let that that go. I think that took the decision making over the top. Maybe. Brutal. It is. That's a flawless victory. Ringo gives me Maxwell vibes. It's not even funny. I really thought he could be a poor man's Sherman, but man, was I wrong. See, the thing with Ringo, I just kept telling myself, well, he's so young, he'll figure it out. Well, now we're into year 3, and yeah. Meanwhile, mid-girls referred to Nooms as mid. Here we go. Going personal, right? Truth can be brutal. Some can handle it. Some like to talk around it. Look, again, I don't think we don't have to say everyone's elite. We don't have to say everyone's great. Saying that he's got flaws in his game, but the position could be worse without him, I think it's a fair thing to say. I agree. I really wanted Ringo to make that set. I did too. It would have made things so much better and easier if Reed or Kelee Ringo could have been the man. We wouldn't have had a trade for Jacorian Bennett. We could have traded for something else. You know, I think the Ringo thing was a lot of hope, but something that I think now entering year 3, we realize maybe he just don't have it. Maybe he just doesn't have it. Plain and simple. But anyway, back to Reed Blankenship. The fact that he was voted a captain just says how important. It doesn't mean he's the best player on the team. It doesn't mean he's a great player. Captains aren't always the best players, but they're the best leaders. And I think it shows a lot that this team voted him. And I think it's a great story for Reed Blankenship. Undrafted free agents don't normally get to this position. Doesn't mean we think he's great. It still means we can admit his flaws. Blankenship is a starting safety for all the bottom half teams in the league. He's a bench player for most top, but the leadership is important. I think it's a very fair way to describe it as well, Duck. He's important, but he's nowhere near the best player. I mean, if you had a rank, it's just the top 11 starters on the Eagles defense in skills and where they rank in their position in the NFL, Reed Blankenship would be down to the bottom 11. But Reed Blankenship, the leader, bumps him up. He is an important member of this defense because he's been here for how many years? He knows this system. He knows this team and city, and the players respect him. You could be a good, not great player, but if your teammates respect you, that's great. Yes, I think if Howie knew about Ringo Slay or Rodgers would have been re-signed. I don't blame Howie. I get what he was trying to do. Yeah, I think if he knew how it was going to play out, he might have tried to sign. Blankenship is Quinion Mitchell-esque. No, Quinion Mitchell is all pro level. Quinion Mitchell could win a Defensive Player of the Year award in his career. Reed Blankenship is never going to be an all-pro. Reed Blankenship is never going to be a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. Okay? There's a huge difference. I am not going to say who my source is. Agents all talk to one another since there aren't that many licensed. I'm not going to release. Oh, sorry. I just saw Quentin Michael. Sorry. I read it out loud, too. And I just saw the Q and the M. Again, I'm at 177 comments here in 70 minutes. What's that, like 2.5 comments a minute? My apologies, Rick. I really thought I saw Quentin. I guess I got to zoom in a little bit on this. My apologies on that. Quentin Michael. And that's fine. It doesn't mean we trashed him before. It also doesn't mean he's a bad player. It just means we realize who he is. Quentin Michael. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think it's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Cannot release my information. Will not release my source. It's the first time I've ever had a source on anything. So, that's perfectly fine. Just going through Twitter real quick. Make sure there's no breaking news or anything. Got to stay up on that. You said crazier, bold things before, Rick. That is your reputation. The over-the-top power of positivity. Never put anything negative out in the world. Don't hate me for thinking that was a slight chance on that. Yes, you don't have to be elite to be a good player. People need to stop putting. No team has 11 elite players on offense or defense. There's always going to be your weakest player, your weakest link. Goodbye. There's a relevant reference right there. And Reed Blankenship, is he the weakest link on this defense? No. That would be cornerback 2 right now. Okay? Hell, I might put edge rusher. The depth of edge rusher behind Reed Blankenship. So maybe I wouldn't put Hunt and Smith behind him, but basically pretty close. Now, the projected 11 starters, I would probably say Reed Blankenship's right around 9 or 10 on this defense. Look at STT becoming a real new sports news organization. Yeah, it's my one and only source. And like I said, I didn't have to double verify it because someone double verified it for me. Someone knows the director of marketing for the Eagles, and they verified that it's happening. They were just waiting for I's and T's to be crossed, and when was the right moment to announce it to the media and to the public and stuff like that. So that's all. They're just waiting for the timing of it. A lot of that stuff getting announced is timing. But I will say this. It is so funny. I put out, my sources tell me that Reed Blankenship extension is happening soon. No details on when or the contract. And do you know how many people said, I don't know what I'm talking about. I've never had a source before. People arguing, just let me have my, in responses saying that I'm having a moment. Let me have my moment. Oh, don't worry. I'm not talking down on him. But my sources say, there are so many people pissed off at me on Twitter this weekend that I put that tweet out there. So many haters saying that I am just nobody that can't have a source. Like, you are not going to believe the amount of negative, DMs and comments and posts, and how many people bashed me in private message because I wouldn't tell them who my source was. Like, seriously, sources are sources. You don't reveal your sources, right? Putting out that tweet was cool to do and was enjoyable to do because it's a verifiable source and stuff. But let me tell you something. The blowback I got from putting that information out there, it helped the algo a lot. But God damn, I hope I never have a source information again. Reed is a solid player. Not everyone. Yeah, you can't have 22 superstars. You just can't. There's a salary cap. You just can't. But you can have 22 good players with some of them superstars. And that's what Reed Blankenship is solid. And we will be better off keeping him than losing him. Sources or sources for a reason. If you told everyone who your source was, you wouldn't have a source now, would you? Dude, let me tell you something, Reality Check. I've never had that opportunity to put something like that out. But the fact I did felt cool, but also some people literally took, and that's the thing, like, the blowback was, I wasn't expecting as much of the doubting me because I've never had a source. Calling me out because I don't know what I'm talking about. All the people who say stick to football because I don't know baseball are telling me to stick to baseball. I don't know football. Some people can't handle connectivity to others. No. Deal with the blowback. Having source information is awesome, and develop some sources over the years. Yeah, I mean, most of my sources, or most of the people I know, wouldn't give me the information they have to release it publicly. But maybe this source starts to gain some traction and feed me more information over the years. Brewers yesterday were like Apollo when he has his hands raised celebrating that he just won the fight, and then Rocky got up. I think I kind of feel like that happened like 2 or 3 times yesterday, Rick, right? I mean, the Phillies had to come back 2 or 3 different times. I used to have a source in the Eagles, but they moved to a new job about a decade ago. Now I'm sourceless. Yeah. That's this same source had some Flyers information, but I don't talk Flyers enough, so I never released that because I didn't know enough about it. So, yeah. I feel you, man. When I was YouTubing, I had sources as well, and people hated it when I told people stuff and didn't tell him. Yeah, like, dude, I would never release an anonymous source that could lose their job if I told them or reported it. Like, seriously? But I think that there's somebody quote tweeted it that said that their information does not confirm this, or their source cannot confirm this. And then someone commented, well, let the guy have his moment in the sun, his one moment in the sunshine. And the other person says, no, I'm just giving you information. I would like, there's this back and forth arguing whether I was just having a moment in the sunshine. Like, what the fuck's wrong with people? Because I've never put it out, it's because I would never put something out that I didn't believe the source that it came from. Like, right? Like, seriously? Like, it's insane. But whatever. Can't please everybody in this game. This Phillies team's spirit animal is Rocky from Rocky 2. This time they win it all. Just win, Rocky. Just win. Well, what are we waiting for? Look, it was a great win last night. I will say this, Rick, about it. I'm not allowed to overreact to a 3 games losing streak or whatever, or the Mets series or whatever, because I'm being negative. And I'm not calling you out. I'm calling a lot of the Twitter people out, okay, Rick? I know you're not on Twitter. But those same people that say I cannot overreact to 2, 3, 4 losses in a row because it's a long season are overreacting. That's saying that one win is defining the Phillies season and is going to carry them to a World Series championship. If it's a long season, we can't overreact to 1 loss. Why can we overreact to 1 win? And that's what annoys me. Hey, Tana, shit, man. I spend too much time in the sun. They can win that argument. Yeah, exactly. Wait the few hours, and it's either true or not. Why start bashing someone early and looking stupid? Look, and I put this tweet out Friday afternoon or Friday night, and it still hasn't announced, but I still trust it's happening. I do miss having an Andy Reid source. People don't understand. A lot of these people have other jobs as well. Exactly. All right, we're coming up to the final 10 minutes of the show. Let's get one final update on likes and the poll. Let me refresh this here, guys. If you haven't, please hit that like button. There's only 15, 16 likes on this video, over 20 votes on it. So that means some of you have not hit that like button. So please hit that like button. It helps the algo for sure. If you haven't subscribed, please share it out. I appreciate it. Talk and text messed up all the. It's all good, man. It's all good. I've been saying all year the Phillies will win the World Series. I know. And that's why I said the people on Twitter. Normally on Twitter, all I get is the blowback from my unhappy in-the-moment thoughts while I'm watching a Phillies game. Oh, it's a long season. That doesn't mean anything. But then those same people who keep their mouths shut during the losing, then all of a sudden want to overreact to a win. They would never release news like this on a Friday or over a Labor Day weekend. Absolutely. I have a feeling it'll be today or tomorrow. Actually, what's today? Today's Tuesday. So their practice schedule is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. They have an off day on Wednesday, and then Thursday's game day. So I would expect tomorrow on an off day to be the day that they release the news. But they would never have done it during Labor Day weekend because it would have gotten swept on the rug. It wouldn't have been made the big deal that it needs to be made a big deal because, again, Reed Blankenship is a great success story. Undrafted free agent to a team captain in 4 years. To a vital cog of the locker room in this team. It doesn't upset me. It doesn't. What upsets me is the double standard. That we're not allowed to overreact to something bad, but they're allowed to overreact to something good. I hate double standards. You don't get double standards with me. I allow people to overreact to the wins. Because I overreact to the wins too. What was the series a few weeks ago? Was it Seattle? Who did we sweep a few weeks ago? And I'm like, this is a season-defining sweep. I overreacted to it. So I believe in instant overreaction because I like to live with my emotions on my sleeve. I like to live, in the moment. But other people only want to be able to live in the moment when it accommodates their opinions. I'm just glad the Phillies got their hands out their asses after being swept by the Mets. They don't usually bounce back like that this late in the season. Yeah, look, they got the division lead back up to 6. I said it even after the Mets sweep or the Mets series that they were still going to win the division. Even though the lead went from 7 to 4, I said they are still going to win the division. I know it, I still know it. The only thing that matters is what happens playoff time. How's the starting pitching going to hold up in the playoffs? How's the bullpen going to hold up in the playoffs? Who's going to be the fourth starter if we need one in the playoffs? But there is a schizophrenic nature of overreacting. It annoys me even when I someone partake. I get it. I just like consistency from people. That's all I want. I can't believe that they scored Trey Turner's play a hit. Hitting 300 has less of a meaning these days. I don't even remember that one. I don't, honestly. Top 4 wins. Look, they got it down to, I think after last night's win, was it 3.5 or 4.5, Rick? Behind the Brewers for the best division record in baseball. And there's time. It's a really weird schedule. Sunday night game, Monday afternoon game, then day off. Where we get back to week 1 of the season, where we need a day off in the middle of a series. I thought the schedule here was really weird this week. Yes, Phil, you could say that, but they have proven us wrong so many times before. Absolutely. They've proven us wrong in the playoffs so many times. And that's the thing. I don't worry about the regular season with the Phillies. I worry about the playoffs. And that's why I've always been skeptical about this team winning a championship. I've been very consistent. Rick won't like hearing it, but I've been very consistent in saying they could win a World Series. But I'm not going to say they will win a World Series. I want to see it to believe it. Because I've been proven wrong with this team way too many times. I'm just hoping the Mets fall off the rest of the season. I do not want to play anywhere near Citi Field. Agreed. They played yesterday because they know everybody was off for Labor Day. But then wouldn't they play Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and have Thursday off, Rick? Like in theory, isn't that what they normally do? Like, it's just weird to have that Tuesday off day, unless it's the start of the season. It doesn't happen very often. They will win the World Series. They may win the World Series. They can win the World Series. Will they win the World Series? We won't know for another 2 months. We'll see. They can. They may. I hope. But will they? Pardon me for not having 110% confidence. But see, the thing is, as much as Rick has been 110% locked in, I've been 110% locked in on my opinion too. I haven't changed. I've always said they can, they may. I hope. I know you've been saying the same exact thing for the whole year. And you know what I do, Rick? I've said this before. I respect that you stood firm during all the down moments and all the high moments. You've never faltered. And I hope you're right. I want to stand on here the day after they hoist the World Series trophy and jump up and down and say, I was wrong. Rick was right. I hope I can say that. Will I be able to say that? Time will tell. Just like time will tell that this show's almost over today. We got the final 5 minutes. Tomorrow we'll talk more. We'll get more information from the Eagles practice. Final practice today before the Cowboys game. Maybe Nick Sirianni will officially announce Adoree Jackson or Jacorian Bennett is the starting outside cornerback. Maybe, but maybe not till tomorrow. We'll get the Reed Blankenship extension news. Whatever else is happening. Thursday will be preview and prediction officially of the Eagles game. Oh, I have a special guest. I've got to confirm it, but I got a guest coming on to talk baseball, maybe a little Phillies. First timer coming on the show tomorrow. Riser in the sports talk business. We'll drop that information later. Question of this team has never been about what they're capable of on a given day. It's what they're able to do over the course of 4 weeks against consecutive quality opponents. Absolutely, Nooms. You're spot on with that. It's just staying hot at the right moments. That's all that's ever been the question of this team. Not going cold in October. I won't lie. I'm a little concerned about the starting rotation. Christopher Sanchez is great. Ranger Suarez seems to be back on par. Hopefully he can hold up for 2 more months. But Luzardo and Nola leave a little bit to be desired. I don't even remember if I've ever seen a starting rotation in the playoffs have 3 lefties in it. That's kind of weird. Taijuan Walker seems to have finally run out of gas this year. Even when he pitches solid, it's a struggle to get through 5 solid innings, not even quality starts, but solid starts. I'm really concerned. I know they're going to a 6-man rotation here this week, and I'm good with that. I still have some concerns about the starting rotation come October. I actually, oddly now, with Duran, Robertson, and the way the bullpen is lining up, Banks, Strom, Banks might be ahead of Kirkring at this point, in my mind. I'm more concerned about the starting pitching than the bullpen at this point. And that's crazy to say. I just never thought I'd get to that point. But anyway, we're going to have a good show tomorrow. We're going to have a great Phillies guest on tomorrow, talking Phillies. We'll get his thoughts on all this tomorrow. He's a young gun. He might not be able to answer the Godfather Goodfellas question, but we'll put him to it. Okay. More information. Maybe we learn whether Drew Makuba, who got back to practice yesterday, whether he play too. Will he start? I doubt it, but maybe he gets a start over Sidney Brown. I still think Sidney Brown is the guy that starts the game, but we'll see. We'll see on that. One final refresh of Twitter here. Nothing new on there. Okie dokie. I'm a rising sports commenter. Have me on the show. I don't know why we've never tried to link up you on a show. It would be an argument. It would be a big argument. Honestly, guests, I try not to have too many guests on the show. I don't know. I think guests take away from the rhythm of the morning show. Yeah, exactly. It does. Depends on Brown and how he looks in practice. But we'll have a great show tomorrow with lots more Eagles, Cowboys talk. We'll start diving into the X's and O's of this game. The final preview and prediction will be on Thursday, though. Yeah, this show could not. I don't know if this show can handle you. Only the 6-game stretch for San Diego and Cincinnati were the truly consistent with scoring, pen, and pitching. There's more major slump proof than anything. Yeah, I agree with that. But that's when I close the book on the show. Any final thoughts? Any final opinions? You got a minute to get them out. Final vote. 45% of you say 11 or 12 wins for the Philadelphia Eagles. 38% of you, or 36% of you said 13 to 15. 5% of you said 9 or 10 wins, and 14% of you said less than 9. And that would suck. Absolutely. Now I'm not just saying go Birds, end the show just to say it. I'm saying it because football's back, baby. We're back to our regularly scheduled week. Luzardo's pitched really well. Don't worry about him. I think he's had, 2 good starts recently? I don't know, Rick. I want to like him. I want to have faith in him, but and you can't go 3. And do you pitch Nola ahead of him? Nola was okay in his last start. I'm confident 1-2 in Sanchez and Ranger, but man, I wish we had Zach Wheeler because that would make things a lot easier in a 4-game or 5 or 7-game series. Then you're gonna have to rely on a Nola or Luzardo win in a playoff game, and I just hope Rob Thompson I used to hate short leashes on starting pitches in the playoffs, but our bullpen is so deep that hopefully Rob Thompson has a short leash on Luzardo and Nola come playoffs. Kerkering not allowed to pitch after the 6th inning. I mean, he's coming crashing down a little bit. Don't live on a frequency of fear. I live on a frequency of realism. Okay, I am a realism kind of guy. Anyway, guys, I got to wrap it up. It's after 9:30, guys. You even got a bonus 30, 40 seconds of me today. Got to get to work. Like, share, subscribe, guys. We are back football week, September. The start of football, the playoff stretch run. So much happening, guys. Back tomorrow with a special guest. Go Birds. Bubbles up to y'all.